You're this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Yellowjackets season 2 episode 2, and man, this episode was fucking lit from start to finish. There's a lot of interesting moving pieces. You know, we catch up with Lottie and what she's doing with her cult. I forget exactly what the phrase she called it, but that shit's some cult. That shit is some cold ass shit. And I think that what Lottie is doing is more, there's more to it, bro. There's more to it. Nat knows it. I definitely know it. And I would say, as far as, you know, them going back and forth through the younger characters to the older characters was handled much better in this episode. Last week, you know what I'm saying, it got kind of like a little shaky. It wasn't terrible, but it was just a bit random at times. Anyways, let's talk about this episode. Let's talk about Nat. You know, she is trying to get away from all of this. And I also like that Lottie had a conversation with Travis. And I don't know if I believe that whole entire story that she was kind of telling Nat, as far as, you know, this being a whole accident and of him hanging himself. But the interesting thing is, and we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of go all over the place with this, but there is some type of dark, malevolent spirit that has followed them from where they were in the wilderness up till now, or it just started to emerge again, which may have something to do with Lottie, or it might have just been with them the whole time, because, you know, Nat is also kind of going through something traumatic. And it all goes back to Lottie. So she is definitely way more important to the overall story. But let's shift things back over to Shauna real quick, because her story is getting very interesting, even though she's becoming very messy. Very, very messy, bro. The relationship between her and Cali is very shaky. Cali just does not really trust her mom. You know, I think she's trying to think of different outcomes in her head, how to deal with this, how to put the pieces together, because she definitely knows that she has something to do with Adam's disappearance. And seeing younger Shauna, you know, her continuously talking to Jackie and really talking to herself. You know, she's talking to herself, and there's some lines of dialogue that is very interesting that kind of teases the whole cannibalistic nature of what ends up happening with these characters. Really, really dope. But then they end up having to kind of put her to rest, because Ty is the one that kind of sees what happens to Jackie. You know, she got makeup on her face and stuff like that. So they're pretty much like over Shauna just grieving and stuff, and they're like, yo, we gotta get rid of her body right now. But they can't, because the ground is obviously frozen. So the next best step is to cremate her. So they set up this whole thing to kind of burn the body to get rid of it. We'll get back to that real shortly. So also you have Misty in this episode. She's kind of doing her own thing, trying to figure out where Nat is, and I think this is where Elijah Wood's character is going to come into play to kind of help her. And eventually she's going to find out where this spot is, and they're going to probably do some type of rescue mission. So that's pretty much what Misty's doing. It's funny though. It's funny, you know, because you kind of have to balance all these different elements. Like the stuff with the younger cast was fucking awesome, bro. Like, that was real horror shit. But let's go over to Ty real quick, because there's some really interesting stuff going on with her character as well. As, you know, we saw in the previous episode, Van always has herself tied to Ty, so she can't go anywhere when she sleepwalks, but she's able to get out. Van is just in a panic, just trying to follow, or trying to figure out where did Ty run off to. And we actually, for the first time, I think we see Ty from her perspective, her sleepwalking. and she's following something. That thing, that dark malevolent spirit that we saw in like the intro of season 1, we actually see it its shape. And it's like this, he kind of looks like John Wick, like a skinny John Wick. You can't really make out his face, but he has like a suit on. So whatever that is definitely attached itself to our characters and is possibly pulling the strings here. I want to know more about that, but going back to Ty in present day though, this shit fucked me up, bro. Where she's obviously struggling with sleeping and whatnot. There's this shot of her looking in the mirror, right? And she's looking down, but her reflection is looking at her, because you remember she said that there's a good version of her and there's a bad version of her, which is just, oh man, it's brilliant. Then all of a sudden she sees Sam pop up and she's like, what the hell are you doing in here? Like, aren't you supposed to be at school? And oh man, this is crazy, because then Simone comes. She's kind of freaked out by the whole situation, sees that the window's open. You know what I'm saying? So she thinks that, he probably ran off somewhere. They're driving in the car. They get a call from the school saying the school said, Sam's been here the whole time. So all of this was in Ty's head, bro. It was crazy, bro. Then they get into an accident. Don't know where that's going to head, but that has me interested, and I just think it's going to get really spooky for Ty's character moving forward, especially with Shauna. So, going back to Shauna real quick and Cali, Shauna's trying to do her best to just reconnect with Cali and stuff, to, spend time with her. Cali just doesn't want anything to do with her right now. But Kevin does pay them a visit to start to ask questions about Adam. And she's trying to dodge the questions, but Cali comes in clutch and says, hey, don't we gotta go to the mall? Whoop-de-whoop. And yeah, that's how. But then it picks back up with Cali later on going to the bar with her friend, and she starts to talk to this random guy named Jay. And I started to think to myself, is that Javi? Because there's always that feeling that he could be alive somewhere, which goes back to Travis, where he's continuously looking for Javi. And Nat does some fucked up shit where she takes one of Javi's shorts, puts her own blood on it to make it look like he is gone, which is really fucked up. Lottie says, oh, I can still feel him. He's alive. I'm like, what? What is going on with Lottie? Lottie is just a bag full of mystery at this point, because ever since she got down here, and she also goes through her own kind of traumatic thing. Everybody has their tick. And I like that when we go back to Lottie, when she's kind of explaining what happened to Travis and whatnot, that this thing, he did what he did to get rid of these thoughts, get rid of the darkness. He mentioned something about almost dying to be able to contact whatever this thing is, to kind of make it leave him alone. Doesn't work, obviously, because he ends up killing himself, or something that has followed them has been going after them. And I'm just curious to see how all this stuff is going to kind of connect, or where this is all going to lead by the end of the season. But we finally also get into the cannibal aspect of the show, where we get a scene of Nat and Travis, doing the do. But as they're doing this, weird stuff starts to happen outside the cabin. We see Jackie's body being burnt, but then this big ass thing of snow just falls on it. This wakes everybody up. later on, though, because they start to smell something. They're like, what is that smell? And they come to find out that it's Jackie's burnt body, and they start to go ham. Literally, they start to go ham because everybody's starving. They're at each other's wits. So, there's not that much food to go around. And Shauna's pregnant, so she's got to feed this kid. Bro, I just thought about that, bro. She's eating Jackie, and also now, oh man, Cali she didn't even know. That is crazy, bro. That is some Attack on Titan shit right there. But anyways, I like how they have that imagery of them at like Roman or like Greek kind of times, or like at the Last Supper. So they kind of put this image in their head. Something else puts this image in their head that makes them think that they're eating this like this great feast, but they're really just going crazy on Jackie's body. And the coach sees this, and he's just kind of like, yeah, he knows that he's next, bro. He's next. He's definitely going to be the next one to get eaten. And I think that's how they're going to start tapping into their animalistic kind of thing, whatever. Fantastic episode. I hope I was able to get to every kind of important part of this. We gotta see what's gonna happen with Nat's character. If she's gonna end up just staying there, get too comfortable. Based off the previews, that's what it kind of looks like that we got for the overall season. Don't know what Misty's gonna be doing. Like, things are getting really crazy. I want to see what happens with Ty. But let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments below. Until next time, I'm out.